Next, it was time for the Women's World Championship match, and I got to say I was really excited about this matchup and how it would play out. It was champion Rhea Ripley and fellow Aussie defending against Raquel Rodriguez, whichever you prefer. And look, you've got two really physically imposing women here. I thought it was a fantastic matchup, especially for Rhea. And I also really liked visually that they had a female referee here. It was great representation where it was logical. In terms of how the match played out, it was slower paced, but Rhea's so good at driving these old school wrestling matches. You got a visually spectacular contest. It was brilliant, really logically put together. Now, the flip side of that is, could they have done more to build Raquel as a threat for Rhea? I think absolutely. They've got so much time on Raw, and every single week, they could have been doing things that put Raquel over as a real threat to Rhea's championship. But it felt like in this match, they struggled for the people to invest in the match because the audience weren't buying her as a credible challenger. So in my mind, this absolutely was the right match, but it needed so much more time to build. Rhea is just so far above the rest of the division in terms of her offense is physical, it's hard-hitting, her selling is spectacular. She takes some amazing spikes, and the way that she arches and sells all her body parts really, really stands out. And her facials are excellent as well. She's so expressive. I've really been enjoying her work recently. And the match got plenty of time. They did a fantastic job. But as I said, I feel like they were a victim here of poor Raw build-up. Now, the end of the match saw Dom interfere, which, again, it made sense. They've been having a good thing going with Ray and Dominic for a few months now. However, it probably was diminished here because they had done lots of the same thing throughout the night. So we're at the penultimate match here on the card, and there was, I can remember, interference of some sort or some nefarious means happening in almost every match. So it was a little bit played out at that point. Obviously, they've got the Judgment Day storyline really kicking into gear on their favor, but like I said, a lot of interference, so the crowd possibly didn't react as if this was a standalone occurrence. The short version is, I think they've got two spectacular talents on their hands here, and I'd only wish that a little bit more care had been taken before the match took place, because there's a potential for something really, really special here, and I hope they get another chance to go again with a little bit more investment. Now, I will also touch here on what surrounded this match, rather than making long-winded segments before this took place, was the Grayson Waller effect. And that also gave plenty of time. Cody Rhodes appeared, which was a nice little spot for Grayson Waller here to get some Cody Rhodes time. The gist of the segment, though, was that they were announcing Jey Uso was moving to the Raw brand, which would matter if they'd done absolutely anything to establish the significance of the brand split. Whether you're watching Raw or SmackDown, absolutely everything looks the same. There is no mention of competition. They regularly have wrestlers appear on both shows all the time. So why are we supposed to care that, Jey has moved from SmackDown to Raw? And then you add to that, do we really believe that there's not going to be a point of retribution here between Jey and Jimmy or the rest of the bloodline? It all just had a sense of inevitability about it. So a lot of time invested for a little bit of a flat result, in my opinion. After the Rhea Raquel match, we also had a few video packages. One of them was a really good video package and a show that I'm really looking forward to promoting, the Kurt Angle documentary on Peacock. It would have been so good to see Kurt Angle involved in this show here tonight in some form or fashion. Being in Pittsburgh, in his hometown, and with the timing of the Peacock documentary coming out, Kurt absolutely could have found some time on the show to do something or be involved. So I assume there was a good reason that didn't happen, but it would have been fantastic to see. And then we also got told that Gunther and Gable was going to happen on Raw for the Intercontinental Championship. This has been a really interesting, probably one of the highlights of Raw recently, between Gunther and Gable. Gunther, one of the absolute best in the business at the moment, and Gable, just like LA Knight, the fans seem to be getting behind. So my only note here was that if this is a return match, it would have been great to add a little stipulation here, whether that was a time limit or a no count-out rule or even 2 out of 3 falls here, so that Gable could still get a little bit of shine on Gunther, but the inevitability of Gunther's victory still happens. So those are my thoughts. Again, Let me know what you thought of Rhea and Raquel for the World Women's Championship. Do you think they could have done more with it? And where to? What do you think the next steps are? Raquel, I think there's absolutely more to be done here. And then also let me know what you thought about how they invested their time on this show. Should we have seen Cody Rhodes in action? Did the Grayson Waller effect go on a little long? And feel free to give me your thoughts on the brand split as well.